Out here today at Craig Park in Greenwood to talk about IndyCar racing with Elijah Poe. I want to remind you that we have the IndyCar report every single week. We'll typically and hopefully more consistently once we start our second season appear midweek, probably Wednesday. We will determine that soon. And after each race, we will have a report on the race with a newspaper style recap, I like to say, since I come from the newspaper days. And we have a preview between qualifying and the race, but we're not going to be able to do that this week. We will explain that. You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 321.3, the IndyCar Report with Elijah Poe.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, Elijah. Second time in about a week that we've done this face-to-face. So happy to see you. I happen to be passing through Greenwood. You happen to be in Greenwood, so we decided to do this face-to-face this week. How you been?
Yeah, absolutely good. No better timing with a doubleheader of Iowa here coming up, and being in Craig Park in Greenwood. It's a beautiful summer night, and no better timing for it than right in the middle of the IndyCar season here.
And it really is the sweet spot of the IndyCar schedule. Obviously, May is what everybody is most interested in. That's never going to change. Having said that, this is the sweet spot of the schedule. I think we talked about it, 5 races in 5 weeks if you include the doubleheader this weekend. Yep. There isn't much better time to be an IndyCar fan.
No, there's not, especially with a couple short ovals here at Iowa, and then we go to Milwaukee later on. Really great time to be an IndyCar fan. These 5 races here.
a good one. A lot of good ones coming up.
Yeah, and hopefully, we see at Iowa a great race here. It should be interesting to see how it plays out. The track's definitely changed over the last couple of years with NASCAR repaving it. Regardless, IndyCar's on a short oval. It's a great time.
What kind of racing are you expecting?
I'm expecting a bad race. I honestly am. I was looking at the stats from last year, and before the repave in 2023, IndyCar had 1,500 passes on track, with 319 being for position. Last year, after the repave, IndyCar had 192 total passes on track, 100 being for position. And this repave is coming from NASCAR coming back to Iowa Speedway. Obviously, NASCAR owns the track itself, so they're allowed to.
Sure.
They are allowed to do whatever they want, but
and it's still raceable.
Yeah, it is still raceable.
It's just not
1,500 raceable.
Last year was pretty brutal. I mean, it was hard to get within a car length of the car in front of you if it was only one car. Yeah. If there were 2, then there was a hole, and then maybe you could get some racing. But if it was 2 cars, it was almost impossible.
I almost fear it might be the same this year. They're going to have a highline practice on Friday, but it might rain after that practice session. So if it does rain, that grip that they put on that highline is pretty much all going to be washed away, literally. Maybe we do a rain dance, the rain can stay away, and that second line can be open.
At least for a few laps.
Yeah.
At least for a few until that line turns into marbles, and then it all changes. So we'll see. IndyCar has done an amazing job. We can tolerate a few bad ones. They've done an amazing job with this formula. I know we've talked about this a little bit on our mid-season review, but man, race after race after race, it just delivers. This week it delivered because of a mistake of a driver, but still, it delivered. It was high drama, great racing. Throughout the pack, every race has been amazing. I know we've only had 3 different winners, but it's been very competitive. Just an A+ of a season so far.
It really is, and to think it's an A+ of a season when you only have 3 race winners, and one of those winners has won 6 out of the first 10 races. I would be shocked if you gave me these stats before the season. I'd probably look at those and say, oh, what a horrible season IndyCar's having. That looks like it's no fun at all. But in reality, the action on track has been amazing, and no better action than Santino Ferucci and Conor Daly getting into it.
We will talk about that in just a moment. Wanted to say that we are doing things a little bit different this week because of the doubleheader and qualifying being on Saturday. I was thinking it was on Friday and we could do the podcast the preview after qualifying on Friday. That is now not going to be possible, clearly. So we are going to do this as the preview and then talk after Saturday's race, and after Sunday's race, we'll have more to talk about. And so wanted to let the listeners know what we're going to be doing. Look forward to doing this with you into the future, and excited about our coming IndyCar coverage.
Yeah, there's nothing better than talking about IndyCar. It's one of the best series of motorsports in the world, and I don't think it gets enough recognition as it is. Obviously, it's big in Indiana because you live close enough to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but comparative to Formula One, I think the racing product is it's not even close.
We spent the last week just bashing Formula One on the spot. Not just you,
Yeah.
Will Rutherford too. When we talk about IndyCar, every week he answers 5 questions about Central Indiana sports, and he's a big IndyCar guy too. You will be spending a lot of time with him on the podcast in the future. I'm glad we delayed the podcast until Thursday because we got Santino Ferucci's response to Conor Daly, and it's gotten spicy. I like both these drivers, but you know what I really love? Drama.
Oh, it's the best. It is the best. And in case you're not sure what we're talking about the collision incident, if you want to call it that, on Sunday with Santino Ferucci running Conor Daly wide. But as Santino said today, telemetry actually showed Conor Daly with a little bit of brake check into that corner before he pushed him off wide. And we had both drivers kind of going back and forth.
That's why he didn't expect him. Santino did accept responsibility for the incident.
He did. And he also, had to make some jabs in there, called Conor Daly a back marker, and said he'll remember the incident and that he's had his number on ovals for the past couple years, and he is going to use his abilities on Sunday.
So the interview started with Bob Pockross, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Santino saying, "Oh, my bad. It was my responsibility." And then he said, "But," he went, "but," and then he had to go and turn this into a rivalry. And haven't Conor Daly and Santino Ferucci always kind of been friends?
I guess you could call it frenemies, maybe.
Friendly, at least.
I would say relatively friendly. Conor's always been a little bit outspoken about any driver on the grid, especially on his.
He is not afraid to share his opinion. That's why we love him.
That's why he's got his own podcast, the Speed Street Podcast. He's passionate about bringing fans in the sport, and what way to do it than have a rivalry with one of the most aggressive drivers on the grid, with Santino.
They are 2 of the most aggressive drivers on the grid, particularly on ovals.
And I would honestly.
And he actually called him, Santino, you brought up, basically said, "I'm even better on ovals than Conor." What's that about?
I'm honestly not sure where Santino got that. I almost guarantee if you compare race starts and where they finish, I would bet they're around the same spot on ovals just because the 2 drive so similarly on them. But I would be really shocked if we don't come out of these 2 races and a practice without them coming together once. And it might not be a full incident.
I think they're going to avoid each other.
It might not be a full incident, but
they'll avoid each other for a while, I think. Santino did say that on the pit lane after the race that he didn't like the way that Conor responded too, right? Or he said he was going to apologize.
I think he said he was going to try to go over, but I don't think
he did not like the way he did it. Is it weird that it makes me like both of them more?
I think it's great for the sport. I don't blame you at all. Especially when you have 2 talented drivers. Obviously, they're very different. Santino's obviously got a little bit of more a career path laid out for him than Conor Daly does. But on face value, these are 2 of the most aggressive drivers in the series. And just having them a chance to battle, I think it's what every fan wants, alongside great storylines for the championship as well. And who can win on a short oval. There's so many storylines in the sport right now, and adding another one's great.
Plus, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s guy, Santino Ferucci. Remember how much he loves him.
Yeah.
Against Central Indiana's guy, Conor Daly. Hey, Santino, some advice. Don't mess with Central Indiana's guy.
Well, I'll be damned to find an Indiana person that is not a Conor Daly fan. He is pretty much our hero in the state.
That's right. My wife even loves him because he was on The Amazing Race.
So. Yes, he was. I forgot when he was on The Amazing Race.
Yeah, she loved him then, too. So we won't know much until the first practice on Friday, so later today. Qualifying is Saturday noon, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What have we learned from a recent test, though?
Yeah, so IndyCar tested at Iowa about a week and a half ago, where yours truly, Conor Daly, was fastest out of the 21 who did test at Iowa. All we know is he's fastest. We're not sure where everybody else is at. I know Palou was second, and the Meyer Shank cars were in the top 10. But since it was a closed test, we don't have the official results.
Really?
Like a spreadsheet. I haven't found it yet.
That's odd.
Yeah, But anyway, we know that Daly was fastest, and one of the main things from his interview was saying they really need to have a great showing at Iowa. And that's been a talk in the IndyCar paddock as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see this race off the schedule for next year. With how low attendance has been, in the past couple years, the racing has dipped down, which is, I think we really need a big result for this race.
Can we replace it with Phoenix because it's so early in the year that it could give us an oval before Indy? I know it's not the same kind of oval, but we really like to have one oval before Indy.
I would love to have.
Or Homestead.
Oh yeah, or even Homestead. I would love to have them back at Phoenix.
Yeah, it's such a great race.
And I think it's
so traditional.
And every IndyCar fan talks about it like they want it back. I think NASCAR owns that property as well.
I love flat, short ovals.
Yeah.
You know.
There's nothing better than
Phoenix isn't as flat as it used to be.
Yeah.
But like Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Also not as flat as it used to be, but still very flat. I like that.
And I'll be interested to see what they do with their schedule next year. I know Doug Bowles has been on the record saying he wants to reach that 17 race mark that we have this year. Obviously, you're adding a race in Arlington around the Cowboy Stadium next season. That's going to be really cool.
I love it.
And they're speculated.
But every time you add one of those, you need to add an oval, guys.
Yeah, they do. And I think
it's so hard. It's so much easier to do the road and street courses.
And I think the IndyCar paddock is tight at this point. Maybe not the paddock, but maybe the upper management and what fans want, because you look at Formula One, they have so much success on these street courses and road courses. And it's hard for IndyCar not to look at that and say, like we can copy that success, but IndyCar has something unique, is that they can run on ovals.
If you don't run any ovals, you lose a lot of really top flight potential American drivers.
Yep.
You lose Conor Daly be gone.
Oh yeah, he would be.
For example, half the field would be gone.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. It would be completely dominated by a couple of guys,
yep.
And that's not what we want.
No.
That's not how Americans like their sports. You got to have your ovals.
Yep. And I'd be interested to see what they're able to add next year.
Build them, Roger, if you need to. Build them.
Yeah, he's got the money. He has got the money.
Got a great formula. You need to show it off.
Yeah, to see where they go in 26 is going to be interesting. They had this schedule released well in advance before the time period we're at now. So it is a little concerning that we don't have a solid schedule in place, just because, these races are going to start.
Might be a good thing.
I can think it's good and bad, but, races are going to start here in 8 months for the next season. So,
yeah.
But I think we obviously know we're starting in St. Pete and stuff like that. But
yeah, of course, we know most of the schedule.
Yeah,
it's almost certain. We know that thermal's gone.
Yeah.
So we know a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probable that races like Iowa, there's a good chance that that's gone. As long as you can find some ovals. And don't race on the Indy Oval twice. That would be sacrilegious.
No. But I honestly, I would not be too opposed for them bringing back two races at the Indy GP. I think it's a great course. Everybody's pretty competitive there. The fan turnout's pretty great. It feels like a no-brainer to me, but obviously that's kind of me being selfish as well, because I can go to that one.
But not a doubleheader weekend instead of before Indy, instead of trying to do it at 2 different times.
I could see that as well. The only thing is you would definitely have to move that doubleheader maybe a week back, because obviously the GP now runs into May. We had Barber and Indy GP in May. I don't think that would be feasible for teams to have two races at the Indy GP and then turn around their setups for the oval as well. I think that'd be a little bit much. But I would love to see 2 races back there. They used to do it, one in May, one in August, but haven't been back since.
Sorry about the wind. It was too nice of a day to do this inside, right, Elijah?
Beautiful out here. Beautiful.
Huge weekend for Penske.
It is. Going into this race, the Team Penske driver's been on pole at Iowa 11 out of 13 times in the past 13 races there. But this season they don't have a win to show for. Joseph Newgarden's had a horrible year. Will Power's had a pretty bad year.
And the last 4 or 5 races have been just tragic.
Yeah, tragic's a good word for it, because if every car's not crashing out, it sure does feel like it.
If that interim crew was hoping to ascend into the Penske organization, probably not going to. I mean, they literally might be the worst team right now.
Yeah, I would say so. Just because they might not be the. Obviously, they're not the worst.
23rd, 24th, 27th last week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's bad.
Yeah.
I would say they're not the worst on performance, but I would say mentality and kind of feel around the team.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so far in the dumps right now.
And it's okay. What they need to take out of this is it happens.
Yeah.
You know, as an organization, it happens. We have a chance now to start completely from scratch and build this thing back into a champion, and that'll be a great story. And that's how they need to focus on it. Joseph Newgarden needs to quit pouting.
Yeah.
He really does. I love him. We all love him. He needs to quit pouting, get out there and talk to the media and just say, hey, this happens sometimes. We've had an organizational upheaval. It happens. We're going to be tough through it. We're going to talk, running away from the media, especially the IndyCar radio people who asked you and invited you on their post-race show, and you say, no, that's pitiful. I'm sorry, Joseph, that's bad.
It is bad, especially it makes the series look bad because he is one of the three drivers, Joseph Pato Award.
He's probably number one.
Yeah, Joseph Pato Award and Alex Palou. Those are the drivers they push and they really market well. And for him to be denying TV requests, especially IndyCar radio, the guys are there every single week.
That's right, and they're great.
Yeah.
If they weren't great, then maybe those guys are too great to disrespect and say no to their invitation.
And it's not like they're going to ask him a question he hasn't heard before at one point in his racing career.
You should have it prepared for when this happened. If I go out early, I'm going to say, it's a rough year. It happens. We're Penske. We'll be back. That's all.
Yep.
That's all that's expected of you, Joseph. Go do it.
But that being said, I would be very shocked if a Penske does not win in Iowa.
Really?
I really would.
I'll be shocked if
a Penske
there's any in the top 5.
Oh, top 5?
I think it's that bad.
With how crazy their season's been, I can really see either or.
McLaughlin could win for sure.
Yeah, and I think Joseph
Newgarden could definitely win.
Yeah,
I'm not sure he's mentally in the right place.
No, and it would be hard, losing your strategist and Tim Cindric and the top of Team Penske Racing. Like you said, it has been an upheaval, and they're still trying to rebound.
You think he's embarrassed? Is that part of it about this? Because nobody blames him. I don't think anybody blames. I saw a couple during Indy. Joseph Newgarden's a cheater. He cheated to win his. That's just some stupid people on Twitter. Nobody thinks Joseph Newgarden had anything to do with this.
And
maybe it's a little embarrassment though. At that in particular, being labeled a cheater. I
could see embarrassment, or it's not shame. It's because he obviously is expected to have this great of a season. I think he's more just disappointed in the organization as a whole. It's just been such a bad year. I can't say it enough. You look at the stats; they haven't been this bad since 2000. I mean, that's 25 years.
You know what? You know how much this says about the series that the guy who owns the series, his team is this bad, and he's allowing it, and it says so much about this series and Roger Penske. I know we blushed over him last week. I've never been a Penske fan. I've always been anybody but Penske. But he has done a phenomenal job running this, and it really needed it.
It does.
And I wish it would get more attention.
The way he's done things in the past couple years, obviously just having the sense to fire those people after the attenuator issue in Indy it's really risky to do. And even though he's biting the bullet right now, he's dealing with the consequences, he has to. And for him to have that hindsight.
Probably worse for him than losing his staff was being put to the back of the field at Indy because of how much he loves Indy. That's his first love, man.
Yeah, it was brutal. And he's probably even more mad at Newgarden. Maybe would have won that race if he didn't have an issue.
He would have been coming from the third row instead of the 4th row instead of the 11th. And he was coming.
And we'll never know about poor Scotty Mack. Right on the pace lap.
It happened to Tom Sneva once, and he won the 500. So it'll be all right. Yeah, Elijah, I've been thinking, I feel bad for you that you didn't get to see the glory days of Foyt, Andretti, Unser, Rutherford, just so many great names. Tom Sneva, I was just telling you a Tom Sneva story. Gordon Johncock. But it kind of seems like we're heading into the glory days now. Andy on The Office once said, I wish somebody would have told me it was the good old days when it was the good old days. And I think for the IndyCar, We're getting pretty close. The only thing that's missing is the huge audience from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, it's hard to say it's not right now. You look at the talent this field has. You have veterans like Will Power and Scott Dixon, young stars like Alex Palou and Palou Ward. The series is at a great spot.
And I want to reiterate this again and again. The formula that they've built with these cars is the reason that these stars are being made. This is amazing racing that it makes superstars.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what it looks like at Iowa this year. Just hoping it's a better race than last year. But you really never know with these short ovals. I know a lot of drivers were down on even St. Louis last year. They said, "Oh, this race is going to be boring. You know, we're not going to be able to pass anybody." But you really never know with IndyCar until those cars start going around.
We do have Nashville coming up. Forgot about that.
Yeah, Nashville's going to be a great one.
Yeah.
It was a great one last year.
It was great last year for sure. It hasn't always been great, but last year it was for sure. Before we move on, what are some other ovals? Not all of them are options for different reasons, but you'd like to see Pocono and Michigan come to top of mind as super speedways.
I think Michigan might be number one, especially on X this year. There's been a big revival talk about IndyCar getting back to Michigan.
It would be wonderful.
And I think it's great for the series. Not only do you add another race, selfishly, it's another race in the Midwest where most of your fans are at.
Yeah, and you need an oval triple crown. You really do.
Yeah, they do. They really are. They are kind of hurting. I guess what would you say the potential oval triple crown would be for IndyCar, other than obviously the 500s there?
Any super speedway was always the idea. That back when they did it in the 70s, it was the 3 super speedways: Michigan, Pocono, and Indianapolis, or Fontana when it opened. Now it would be pretty easy to go Indy and Milwaukee. You start there because those are the 2 oldest tracks in the world.
Yep.
If not the world, in America. And whatever other one that you wanted to do it, or a Grand Slam if you wanted to do 4.
Yeah.
Pretty good idea. You call those the Grand Slam races. You raise attendance for those. You don't lose any attendance on the others.
No.
And you could do 5 Triple Crowns in the same season. That would be a really cool thing to do. You could do a road, oval, and street course Triple Crown. There's all kinds of different things you could do to add interest. I'll probably save the off season to tell the marketing department what I feel about it, because I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
There's so many ways you could market this sport better, and it deserves it.
It does feel like there is IndyCar's almost playing catch up to some of the other motorsports series in the world right now. NASCAR's not a great job on social media. They're still there, but their marketing is next to none, and that's why you have almost 2 million, 3 million people a race on network TV week in and week out.
Or how about a regular season championship and then a road course, a street course, and an oval for the last 3 races to determine the champion? There's all kinds of ways you could
like
do
like a playoff.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to copy NASCAR, but it's a different type of playoff. Just 3 races on 3 different on 3 different style courses.
I could see that playing out. I think the only thing that would be deterrent for it, I think the teams wouldn't want to do it.
Probably not.
That's
it would mean Indy means nothing to the playoff, but you would still have the regular season national champion, traditional champion like Alex Palou's about to win for the 4th time in 5 years. But then you would also have a Super Bowl champion, maybe draw some attention, and it would have to be 3 warm places because you'd probably do it in November, maybe even early December. Yeah, but it's an interesting thought.
It could be a possibility.
Might add to the Texas crowd if you wanted to do it there. Maybe bring Phoenix back to do that. There's all kinds of ideas for that. But these are all topics for the off-season.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of off-season.
There is a lot of off-season talk. It'll be interesting to see just where they plan to go next year.
I'm really interested in 2 years from now. What the plan, because next year, I'm pretty sure they've got it 99% done.
Yep.
2 years from now, it'll be interesting to see what they've got in the works. I think Roger is like us. He wants what's best for the sport. And I truly believe that now. He's going to do what's best for the sport, and that has to be not discontinuing ovals.
Yeah. And I think he knows that as well.
Making them a huge factor.
You know, he's an oval guy himself. That's why he bought the Speedway.
Right. Going way back to Mark Donahue.
Yeah, but they're talking about bringing in Mexico City. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a lock for next year. And I've also heard talks recently about them adding a street course to Denver as well.
Be a great one.
Or even San Diego. I know NASCAR's been in talks to have a street course down in San Diego.
Hey, let's do more races. Let's do 22 a year.
I would love them to get over the 20 mark. You know, having a season that starts in March and ends in August. I get you don't want to run into football season because that's obviously going to hurt your viewers. But man, that season feels short compared to Formula One, where you start in February and you don't end till December.
You got to make it special.
Yep.
And you can do it in the middle of the week. There's no rule that says you can't.
Yeah, and I know
Friday night, there's no football.
And I would love a Friday night race. I think most fans would. It would be interesting to see if they do add races and they get into football season. I'm not quite sure what Fox would do with IndyCar because they would obviously prioritize the NFL.
Find a time when there's no NFL. It's not that hard. So if Alex Palou wins on Saturday, they just cancel Sunday's race and the rest of the season? Is that what happens?
I honestly would be very shocked to see Alex Palou win on a short oval.
You said he was second fastest in testing.
Yeah, but you know,
he's going to win this race.
I would be shocked. He obviously he got it done on IMS.
He's
but
going to win this race.
I just can't see it. I can't until he wins on an oval that's not IMS. Because IMS is so different than the other ovals. It's an oval, but it's really not.
He laughed off finishing second last week.
Yeah.
He's going to bring that into this weekend, and he's going to win this race.
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right.
I really will. I obviously.
Who's your prediction? You're going to say Newgarden.
I like Joseph
Newgarden.
You are. I do. I really do.
Oh, I'll take Palou versus Newgarden head-to-head any day.
Oh, my God. If we have
on this race.
Palou, Newgarden, McLaughlin, Dixon, Pato. I want Ferucci and Daly. I really do think Daly's going to be around 5th or 7th.
Great.
I really do.
If he's up there, he's got a shot. I really like the Scandinavians in this one as well, especially those Danes. It's been way too long since you've been in victory lane, you Danes. And in particular, and if I was going to pick after Palou, Felix Rosenqvist, I think is going to have a big weekend.
Yeah, those Meyer-Shank cars were there up in the top charts in testing, and Felix Rosenqvist has been so consistent all season. He's 6th in the points in a Meyer-Shank. A Meyer-Shank is not a bad team in any means, but
especially on ovals.
They are relatively lightly new to the sport.
Well, they're definitely in the bottom half of teams. So
yeah.
You have to say that at this point.
But to still have 2 drivers you got to think Felix is at 6th and Marcus Armstrong is in 8th, and both are really, really good on an oval.
Felix
he's quick.
Great on ovals. I'll be surprised if he is not right up at the top.
All this being said, it just feels like no matter what, even if the racing maybe does take a hit off of the repave, it really does feel like this race could be pretty solid, just for storyline aspect as well.
All right, for the weekend, I've got Palou and Rosenqvist. You'll take Newgarden and?
I like Scott McLaughlin.
Wow, he's going to take both Penskes. He's a believer.
I'm back on Penske this week. I really am. I feel like it can only get so bad. And hey, we'll see if I'm right. Maybe on Saturday I'll have to eat my words.
You will. Thanks, Elijah.
Thank you.
So much fun getting to hang out with Elijah for the second straight week. Thank you so much to him for coming on the Central Indiana Sports Report and talking some IndyCar. And thank you for listening. Please go subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a single podcast. And it would really help us out. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by ITG Media. And I love Susie.